Dear friends, all the plus 2 candidates, doubts regarding Python or what is Python and how file operations can be used. These are things what we are going to discuss today. It may be something what it can be used as a preparatory section for your Python examination. So Python is a free to use language, which means it can be downloaded freely, it can be used on any platform. Python is free to use. It can be also termed as a general purpose programming language. It's not for a specific purpose, it can be used for any purpose. It can be also termed as a platform independent programming language. Why? Because it can run on any platforms, be it a Windows environment, be it any other environment like a Macintosh or even any other environment, it will be working well. So it can be used in two ways. There are two types of modes. It can be either used as an interactive mode or as a script mode. So it allows us to interact with the operating system. The operating system can be connected from a Python. And in what is interactive mode? Interactive mode is where you use it in the Python prompt. Like you use that, there is a delimiter where you can type and you can get the answers there itself, or you can create some functions, or you can create a block of statements, save it, and then run it also. Both are possible. The second one, what I told, is the script mode, where you write the script and then run the script as a unit. The character sets that is available in Python. Python is always a case sensitive language, as you must have recognized now. If you use Python without any case, for example, you use a mix of capitals and small letters, now you will be seeing an error message. So, as in any case, any programming language, the identifier, the variable that you declare, should start either with an underscore or an alphabet. It cannot start with a number. And you cannot use a reserved word what is specifically used by a Python language only. Then we have the variables. Variables are it stores, or whatever variable you declare is going to occupy certain memory location. For example, if there is a variable x equals 1, now 1 is the value what is going to be stored by x. Likewise, now there is no particular data type as such. Data type is recognized by itself. When you give a number, it takes it as a number. When you give a decimal point number, it takes it as a floating point or a double value. This is possible, then it is a variable. Now there are various tokens. Tokens, as we understand, is the smallest individual unit that is stored. That is what. So there are different types of tokens. The keyword is a token. The identifier that you use, the variable declaration, the literals, the text-like message, the punctuators, the operators like a plus, minus, the greater than, less than. All these are what we call as tokens. Keywords are a predefined set of words which is mostly used by a Python language. For example, connector, something like that, connect. All these things are reserved words which can be used only by, which cannot be used as identifiers by us. So those are the keywords. You cannot use them as a variable. These keywords cannot be used as a variable. Even it cannot be used as a class name. It cannot be used as a function name. Function, when you declare a function def followed by a name, this name should not be a keyword. An identifier, as we know, identifier is a variable that we declare. Is a variable. Any name you give your variable is an identifier. There are certain rules, as I told you a little before. It can have letters, digits, and underscore, but it should not start with a number. It can start with an alphabet or an underscore, but should never start with a digit or a number. It cannot be a keyword name. A variable can be a variable name. It can have any length. For example, If we give a name Python, it will not. Python is a reserved word. That cannot be used. If you use a name like Rajesh, like my name Jyotish, now these things are accepted. It can be of any length. It can also be starting with an underscore also. Literals are constant values or a fixed value which can be a string, a number, or even a boolean. Boolean is when it is a true or a false value. It gives a 0 or a 1. Or for example, when you are declaring, when you are using a gender, for example, an M or an F, so you want to check whether a pass or a fail. So these are things what can be part of a boolean. In this case, my name for Jyotish is a literal. Why? Because it is a string. Punctuators or separators. Now, the one what can be used as a puncture, the ending, the 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 single quote, the double quote that we use, the parenthesis, the brackets, the flower brackets, the colon, the comma, etc. are all what we call as punctuators. Then we have the operators also, like the plus, minus, divide, multiplication, the equal to, greater than, less than, the logical operators like and, or, and not, even the identity operators is not, the membership operators like in and not in, the bitwise operators like an ampersand or a cap symbol or a pipe symbol. All these are what we call as operators. So any language like Python, even Java or anything will have all these operators there also. There is not much difference, but the operators what can be part of Python. These are the things what I have told you now. Then we have the comments. The comments is something what is we can read, but comments will be certainly ignored by a Python company where you can write anything. Basically used for documentation purpose. Okay. Now when you to start a comment, you start with a hash symbol. The hash symbol, when you start something with the hash symbol, this is what you call as a comment. Then we have the built-in data types. We don't have to declare something as when you declare a variable, you don't have to tell this can hold only numbers, this can hold only text, this can hold only boolean. This need not be said. It recognizes by itself. So the numeric data types can be an integer, float, and complex. All these are allowed. The sequence types are also there, like a list, tuple, or a range. The mapping type is also there, like a dict or a dictionary. The set types are also there, which is a set or a frozen set. Boolean type, which is a bool. Binary types are also there, the bytes, byte array, and memory. These are the different types of built-in data types that is available in a Python programming language. Now, what is mutable and an immutable? There are two concepts, which is mutable. As the name itself suggests, immutable, we can think it of like this, where unchangeable, which cannot be changed. The order cannot be changed. Mutable is when you can change the values. Mutable is something what can be changed or which by itself has the ability to be changed. The mutable is the ability of objects to have their values changed. Initially A will be 10 and later on A can be changed, say 20, 25. So this is what we say as a mutable. And immutable is when the possibility to change is not there. And the list of when we want to check the list of mutable, immutable, lists, sets, and dictionaries are examples of mutable objects where it can be changed, the order can be changed. But the other is immutable is when it's a number, string, tuple, or a frozen. These are the different types of immutable of which cannot be changed. Python has also got different types of operators, like what we discussed in the beginning. An arithmetic operator like a plus, minus, the relational, the assignment, or the equal to, the logical, and, or not, membership, identity, and bitwise operators. These are the different operators that is part of the Python language. Now coming to the looping constructs, what can be used as a conditional statement, like if else, and if else. When you check this if statement, an else statement can be combined with if statement checks only for one condition. If you want multiple conditions to be checked, you can either go for a else, or if you have more else conditions to be checked, you can go for elif. So elif can contain more than two conditional checks. The syntax of if statement, if you check, if expression, say for example you want to check if x is greater than 40, and you want to check the marks, if x is the marks, or if marks greater than 40, you say it's a pass, else it's a fail. So what we are doing is we are checking only one condition. It can be either a pass or a fail. Now if you check the flow chart, the condition what we give, what if the condition is say greater than 40 or not. If it is true, you go for the if code, else if you go for the else part. So true part and else part are the two distinctions that we have with the if else loop. Then we have the if you check this, if variable 1 equals, and check just as example, if we have declared a variable var1 equals 100, we are checking if var1 is double equal to or what we call as absolutely equal to. If var1 is absolutely equal, we know it is not absolutely equal to 200, so it will be printing only the false part. If variable 1 is not equal to 200, now this will be printing what value? It will be printing false expression. Else print true. Since this is, we have given it as 200, it is going to print only the false part. Functions. Now how we can declare a function in a Python? Functions can be categorized into three. It can be a module, it can be a built-in, or it can be a user-defined function. Functions are something which can perform a computation, or it's a block of statements which will be executed from top to bottom. So first line takes as the first statement, then the second, third and fourth. So which is a procedural one or a sequential one. Then we have what we call as a module. What a module is a file. We can consider that as a file which contains Python statements. And this is a module what can be, there are modules what can be imported. There are two types of imports possible. Either you can import the whole, so say if you import math function or math module, it imports all. Say you can do the square root, you can check the power, everything can be done. So all the powers will be part of a math function. If you want only one part, say for example, if you want to check only square root part, then you can go for from. For example, the import math, check the last statement, import math, which imports all the math functions what is part of a math module. And on execution of math import.math, what happens is it searches for the file whether math.py, py stands for Python, whether it is part of the Python directory, it will check, and if it is there, then you will do that. And after you import that, when you go for math.sqrt means square root of 25, it will check the square root. So what we have done is we have not imported one file, we have imported all the files, irrespective of whether we use it or not. Now there is a from statement also. In case if you don't want the whole of, because you are using unnecessarily, you are misusing it, maybe all the statements are not, all the math functions are not required, what you want is only a square root. In that case, you can go for from math. Math is a module. From math, import sqrt. Now this will calculate only sqrt. So if you try to perform other functions, you will see an error message. So that is a from step. So either you can go for import or you can go from math, import sqrt. If there is a function named pow, you will do what? From math, import pow. So which will find the power. So like this, either you can go for the required functions, or if you don't know what functions you will be requiring, you can import it fully, like import math. There are iterative statements also. Iterative statements, which means continuous sequencing, looping statements. An iterative while or a for loop. For example, if you want to print numbers from 1 to 25, for example, you can go for a for loop. For range I equal to 1 to 25, if you give, it will print, or it will go for 25 iterations. These are the two iterative statements what we have in Python, which is a while loop and a for loop. Hope I am making it clear. Then to use the while loop, just check. We declare the syntax is like this: while you are giving the condition, then the statements following. So it will be a block of statements. In this case, just take the example. I have given I equals 1. So I am not telling whether I is going to hold a number or something. It recognizes by itself. Now I will become an integer identifier. Okay, I equals 1 while I is less than equal to 5. So what I check is till 5 I want it to increment, or I want it to iterate. So print I and I equals I plus 1. What it will do is, it will first check I equals 1. Yes, it is correct. It will print 1. Then it will go to I equal I plus 1. Then 2, 3, 4, 5. When 6 comes, it exits from the loop. And what it will be printing is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 will be printed. That is your while loop. Now this while loop can be used with an else statement also. So it's a mix. Now we are having a nested loop, or we have a mix of iterators. In this case, what we have done is, now here I have defined what there is one uh, function what I am defining, def. Def is for defining a function. So def, and the name of the function is wloop underscore exp. So that is the name. You can give any name. I have given wloop underscore exp. Then I equals 1 while I is less than or equal to 8. Okay, while I is less than or equal to 8, print I equal I plus 1. So then I am printing else print while loop ends. Now this will do what? It will print statement from 1 to 8, and else if it comes out, then it will be like while loop ends. So that is your mix of while loop with an else statement. It is not if statement. Else can also be part of a while loop. Now the next iterator is a for loop. For loop is also something like a while loop only, but here the statement used is for I in range 1, 5. So starting from 1 till 5. This also will do the same job what a while loop did in the previous slide. So it will also print from 1 to 5. So the statement is for the variable I in range. In range is a reserved word. In range, in brackets, the starting number and the ending number. So start from 1, print till 5, or loop 5 times. Print I. Now what will it print? It will print I. I is now 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. After 5 it will not print, it will be exiting from the loop. For loop with range function with 2 parameters. Can we do it with 2 parameters? That is also possible. Now same example, for I in range 10, 18, print I ends equals. Now what is it going to print? Just check from 10 to 18. Now it is not, it will be having what? 2 parameters. Same thing what we discussed before. Now the first parameter is starting and the second parameter will be the ending. So it will print from 10 to 17. 18 will not be printed. The last number will not be printed. 10 to 18, which means starting from 10 till 18, less than 18. So it will be 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 and 18 will not be printed. Maybe this question will be there for a multiple choice question. What will be printed when you use it like this? Just go through, try it in your Python application, you will find out what it will do. Now there are other built-in functions which are commonly used, which is in ABS, absolute value. Absolute value will be when you give some value in negative, minus what if we give, it will be printing 45. So 119L, when it's a complex number, it will be removing the complex and will give you only the absolute value, 119. Maximum of x, y, z. You can also find, instead of writing a big program, you can use the function named max to find out which number is the bigger number. Max in bracket, if we give some numbers, from these numbers it will be taking the maximum number also. Min also is like that, where it takes the minimum number. CMP, comparison, also you can use to compare two numbers. So these are the 4 built-in functions which are commonly used for doing a comparison. Hope you are able to understand. Then the user defined functions also. So we define our own function like min, max and all built-in functions what can be used simply without any programming. But can we write our own? Can we create our own function? It is also possible. Now here def say hello. Say hello is the name of the function what I create, and this function I wanted to print what hello will. So when you give def say hello, then I print, this is 2 statement. And when I save this as Python, and when you run this application, you will see hello world printed on screen. There is something what you call as a scope of variables. The scope of variables, where a variable can be accessed. The scope of variable refers to whether so and so variable is visible from so and so line or not. If you declare a variable I equal to 10 before I equal to say some number or some value before the function, that becomes a global value which can be accessed by the function from any part. For example, if you put some number, some value, say the name equal to Jyotish when you give, and when you try to access this from outside the function, it will not be accessed because that is a local variable. So when you want to make it a public variable or a global variable, you will have to declare it outside the function so that this function can always be accessed from any part of the program. So that is a global scope. And you just check this example. Before DEF test, I have declared variable x equals 50. Can this x equal 50 uh, accessed by the function from it is possible. So the after DEF test I have given x plus equal to 10, which is x equal to x plus 10. So it doesn't know what is the value x is having, but x is already having 50. So you will think this x equal 50 cannot be x, but it can be accessed. So when you print what you are getting inside also, it is the value is 60 is printed because x is 50 plus 10 is 60. Outside, from outside also what you do is, so both the values will have the 60 only. So both the values have changed. So that is the difference between a global and a local scope. The looping constructs what we just discussed now. The for statement what we discussed. Then we have the break and continue. The next thing what you should understand is about the break, where we can use the break and continue. Break is simply breaking out of the loop unconditionally. Continuing is also allowing it to continue unconditionally. Whether so and so destination point is reached or not, you may either break or continue whenever required. The break statement terminates the loop and resumes execution as the next statement. So it simply breaks, then continues to the next statement if it is break. Continue is also like that. It will continue even if the destination point is not reached, still it continues. So to just check the examples, just check. Here I am using what the break point. Check. I am using the for statement for letter. Letter is a variable. For letter in Python. So the value what it contains is Python, Python. If letter double equals h or absolutely equal to h, break. Print current letter. Now what it will print? When it finds the letter h, it will be breaking out of the loop. So which means it will be printing p, y and t. So when it comes across h statement, it breaks out of the loop. So this is your break. So the continue statement. Where we use continue. Continue, for example, let's check this example. For letter in Python, same application, same set of statements I am using. For letter in Python, Python, okay. If letter equals double equals h. Now even if it reaches h, I don't want the program to break. I want it to be continue. So what it will simply skip the h and print the rest. So what it will be printing here? Print letter. What letters are there? P, Y, T. It comes across h. But our if statement says if letter double equals h, continue. Even if you find h, don't bother. Just print the next statement. So it will go to O and N. So Python only will be printed. So that is the difference between a break and a continue. Any questions there? We will continue with other things maybe in our next session of it. Hope you have understood. If there is you are happy with it, please give a like to my presentation. We will continue it. Before you are reaching the examination, I will try to cover all the portions. Okay. Any doubts? You can get back to me in my You can give comments in the comment section. If you have doubts or if you want my presentation to be improved, please give your feedback. Thank you for watching. Any doubts you may contact me in my email id jothishc@yahoo.com. Okay, thank you all.